God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Fuentes.
God bless football, Billy Gill.
Guys, today's episode of God Bless Football is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Hey guys. We gotta do better on that. Like,
on what?
Fuentes. What was that? God bless football. I mean,
Wow.
that was a half-hearted. I don't even God bless football on that. And you went back to your questionable God bless football. Like, God bless football?
Me?
Yeah.
Or Fuentes? Yeah.
Well, Fuentes was just flat. You said after last week you were going to up the game a little bit in the God bless football, and I feel like we failed. We failed it.
You're not wrong. I still am kind of trying to figure out if I like that as the opening of the show or not, which at this point in the show's run doesn't matter, you know?
No, it doesn't.
I guess we'll just continue God blessing football. You want me to start again? Ready? God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Fuentes.
God bless football, Billy Gill.
Oh,
that was even worse.
That was better
from
I
Fuentes.
thought that was better.
I think the thing with Mike Fuentes is like he wants to. How do I best describe this?
Be on the air?
No, well, that yes, obviously, but
okay.
I think aesthetically, he wants to be Bad Bunny or Nicky Jam with the energy of a goth. Like, you want to be goth Nicky Jam. Does that sound about right, Fuentes, or no?
No, what it is that I look over in the Zoom and everybody looks very comfortable in their houses, their nice chairs, all very nice. Meanwhile, me and Danny were in traffic this morning for an hour and a half trying to get here, and now I'm tired and in a bad mood. And that's why.
It's 36 degrees outside.
That's fine.
And
just in case you needed like he's comfortable in his house. It's 36 degrees outside.
I woke up at 5 to go to a preschool day parent teacher conference. So I'm sorry the traffic was so rough for you.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not sorry. You're not sorry.
I'm not sorry at all. I don't think that that's really a problem. I think that you have it pretty good, goth Nicky Jam. And you're just now sad for whatever reason because that's your thing, and now you're taking it out on us for whatever reason. Look,
guys, free agency, guys.
Well, I would just say this also, Mike Fuentes. You're complaining. You're surrounded by friends at work. Okay, Me and Mikey are home alone, left to our own thoughts, like in the dead of winter, where it's in the 40s for Mikey, and it's like 82 for me. So like. It's hard. It's hard being by yourself and taking care of your mentals when you hear Home Alone while you're there surrounded by Danny B and Lewis was dancing behind you a second ago. So and you have lunch and breakfast provided for you. So like,
breakfast
exactly
is great.
Right.
Yeah, breakfast is great when you get here, but then you realize you're like 20 pounds overweight and your metabolism checked out like 10 years ago. So
20 pounds?
Yeah.
20 pounds overweight? That's a problem for you?
Mike,
Dude,
I
his problems are
notice
crazy.
20 pounds overweight. I didn't realize that would be a problem. Killed to be 20 pounds overweight.
When did your metabolism slow down, Fuentes?
Oh, I don't know. It checked out at least a decade ago.
A decade ago?
At least minimum, I would say.
That's not bad. I mean, if you're 20 pounds overweight, it kicked out a decade ago. Just think of it this way: you only put on 2 pounds a year, so that's nothing. That's nothing. That really isn't a big deal at all.
Free agency.
Oh, we're just not talking about your overweightness.
Free
anymore?
Agency. How about them 49ers?
We'll get to the 49ers later. We have a lot to talk about. So we had an episode last Friday, right as free agency was kind of kicking off, and then Sunday, business picked up in the NFL. Yeah. Things kind of went a little bit crazy, and they've slowed down some, but it's been a busy week in terms of movement, in terms of free agent signings, in terms of people just getting cut because they couldn't get traded from their team. Lots of rumors, lots of things out there. And then Josh Allen, who just wins the MVP and who already had a long-term deal, has now re-upped, and he has the most guaranteed money, I think, of any quarterback. He's not making the most annual salary per year. Dak is still making more than him at $60 million. I think Josh is now up to $55 million. I saw an interview, I should rephrase that. I saw headlines from an interview with Josh Allen where I guess they were asking him the difference between, him and Dak. And he said something along the lines of, I know this is crazy, but how much is $5 million really going to affect my life? Like, I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate. And it's a very nice thing to say in terms of like, let's use that money to help other people. But good Lord, how much is $5 million a year going to change my life? Is like, oh my God, I wish I was in a position where it's like, how much is $5,000 going to save my life? You know what I mean? And I don't have any ill will towards Josh Allen at all, but oh, I'm happy for him. I've become a Josh Allen guy, I think, Mikey. And I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable with it, if I'm going to be honest with you, because the Bills are in the division and Josh Allen is the reason the Dolphins miss the playoffs every year, right? So I can't outright be a Josh Allen fan. I can't outright.
I would argue that the Dolphins are the reason the Dolphins missed the playoffs. But
Well,
sure, okay,
Mikey,
I get
Mikey
what you're
nailed
saying.
it. Yeah, Mikey nailed it. They're their own worst enemy. Yeah, it's not,
The Dolphins.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody has to win the division, and Josh Allen is there to take it. But
Well-
the Dolphins are the reason the Dolphins miss the playoffs.
The Dolphins are the reasons the Dolphins make the playoffs, but if the Bills were the Jets, the Dolphins would be in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Bills were the Jets. The Dolphins make. Okay.
Yeah, like-
you're right.
The Bills are basically 2 guaranteed losses on the Dolphins schedule every season. So when you miss the playoffs by like a game, the Bills are who I am blaming for the Dolphins not making the playoffs. But again, and just what a captivating spirit he has, where just one sit down with him completely changed everything.
you guys bonded at the Super Bowl. You were
I know
two
that's
years ago.
Yeah, I know.
You
but
had him
it's-
laughing. You made a little joke about Haley Steinfeld, and he wasn't there. He gave you a little smirk, a little look. I was like, oh, that's the buds. I got a screenshot of you guys looking into each other's eyes and smiling.
Yeah, I mean, but that was just. I think that's just him. I think he's just a captivating personality, and I think he just charms people, and then he goes on and breaks their hearts and spirits. You know.
Stugotz would say, Josh Allen loves you, Billy. Billy, Josh
He would.
Allen loves you. My question to you is, in all honesty,
No is the answer.
If he saw you in a room, would he be like, I know that guy?
Not at all.
Whether or not he has feelings about you,
Not
as
at all.
far as like, I like that guy, I hate
No.
that guy. But would he be like, I know that guy?
Not at all. I don't believe that at all. Just because it was just one interaction on a day where he did probably 20 interviews. So like, no, I don't think he has any clue who I am.
Yeah, but it was
which
a
is
special
perfectly
one.
fine.
I think if you would have saw him,
But
this,
it was a special one.
if you would have saw him this Super Bowl, I would say you're closer to it because then you have like 2 years in a row. Now you're getting a rapport. You know, this guy knows me, he sees me. But yeah, it was 1 year ago. It's already been a year.
I don't think
you're gonna get an invite. I don't think you're gonna get an invite to the wedding. Yeah.
Had we seen, no, definitely not. Had we seen him, had I gone to the golf tournament Stugotz goes to where he claims he saw him, maybe because it was a couple months later. But no, that ship has sailed. The Josh Allen budding friendship is long gone. He has better media connections. You know who fell off, and this is not football related. Hey, DK Metcalf is a Steeler. You know who we had a long-term somewhat relationship with that really fell off, and I haven't seen him really doing a ton of anything right now. Like, he had a moment and he's fallen off, and maybe it's time for us to revisit it. Not in the NFL, but Max Homa. Like, Max Homa was a guy that he was like on all the podcasts. He was out there, very charming. He had his kid. He was still doing some stuff, and now I don't really see him kind of around as much. So I wonder if maybe this is our opportunity to sneak back in there with Homa and be his homies again, right? Is that what we called ourselves? I didn't remember what the
yeah,
nickname
we were
was.
the homies. I would say he's got to win. The problem is if he wins, then he doesn't want to come do
exactly
do our
right.
show.
We need to get down. We need to get back with him when he's down on his luck, I think.
Yeah.
That's the move. And I'm following golf very closely, so I know exactly how he's doing in the tournaments. So
Okay. Yeah. As much as you follow football.
Not that much, dude. I bought so many football books this off season to study up for next season. It's kind of crazy. I got so many books that I bought a bookshelf to put them on right here off to my side. I'm really studying up on defensive schemes. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it.
What's your favorite so far? Are you a 4-3 guy or a 3-4 guy?
Well, my focus at the moment is preparing for the drafts, or my focus at the moment is preparing for the draft once the draft has come, then I'm really gonna start digging into the X's and O's. And next season, if there is one, next season we're gonna be talking about defensive, offensive schemes, play calling. I can tell
course.
you about Bill Belichick's philosophies. One of the problems that I'm gonna tell you, and I'll show you the book, and I'll probably get made fun of for this, but it's called Defensive Football Strategies that I'm really gonna dig into here. Here's the problem with this book is that it's quite dated right now because of the fact that it's so dated. We have a lot of contributors to the book, a lot of different coaches over the years that tell you like here's how you do the 6-2-2-1 against the running game, right? And then there's like a
Mhm.
coach that tells you how to do the 6-2-2-1 against the running game, right? Perfectly fine. I understand that there's a lot of coaches, a lot of insight. Bob Stoops is in here. George Welsh is in here. Like there's a lot of strategies and a lot of signature things that are in here. Schembechler, sorry. Now, here's the problem. This was published over 20 years ago, and I didn't realize
When
this.
Fuentes' metabolism was still running good.
Yeah, when his metabolism was
Um,
in tip-top shape is when this book came up here. Now, here's the problem is that on page 35, we have a whole chapter on contrasting the 7 and 8 man fronts, and that portion was written by Jerry Sandusky. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this 20-year-old book that is featuring defensive strategy schemes of Jerry Sandusky. So I may skip that portion and just never really understand the difference between the 7 and 8 man fronts because
just have that gap in your knowledge, and that'll just be fine.
I think
No
that
one
may
would blame
be
you.
yeah, I think it's understandable, especially if I explain to them if we're breaking down the 7 versus 8 man fronts and they're like, Billy, a little bit of a hole in your knowledge there. I'll say, here's the problem. I was reading my AFCA Defensive Football Strategies book, and that portion couldn't get behind
No,
that chapter. I just really, I I had to take a stand. If you stand for nothing, you fall for anything, they say, and this might be where my stand is.
they do say that.
Yeah.
They do.
So, anyways, the Steelers now have an interesting situation. I don't know why we're talking about the Steelers, but the Steelers got DK Metcalf. The Steelers have George Pickens, at least for now, unless they try to move him for whatever reason. But they don't have a quarterback. And this is now posing an interesting situation for the Steelers because rumors are swirling of potential interest in your former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers has officially been released and has been released, and the Jets are eating like the $49 million cap hit or whatever that they have to pay him now, which is crazy.
Mhm.
So he could now, in turn, go to the Steelers, which people think could be a good fit. I have said that I don't know why Mike Tomlin would invite him into that. And at the moment, Russell Wilson has met with the Browns or is meeting with the Browns, so he may find a future home. So that is one question mark that we still have out there in terms of quarterbacks. Aside from that, a lot of the quarterbacking questions have been answered. The Vikings one is also still a question mark because there's J.J. McCarthy, who they drafted last season, but he missed all of last season with an injury. So we don't know where they stand on him, if he's going to be their starter, if they're going to bring someone in. Daniel Jones was promised that he would be their guy, and then Daniel Jones decided, you know what? Indiana, Indiana Jones, some are calling him, headed towards
Yes.
Indiana. Now he's going to be a backup in Indiana. So the quarterback carousel, quite active so far this season, Mikey A.
I love Daniel Jones's decision to go to because like he's essentially a bad version of Anthony Richardson, where has some good throws, but like has some trouble actually running an offense. But he can run with his legs, and he's a big physical guy. Like their offense won't change from quarterback to quarterback too much. I mean, Anthony Richardson is more talented. Let's like before we
Yeah.
get like let's get that out there. But like I love that he was like, you know what? I'm gonna go somewhere where it's gonna be the same either way. Um, I don't know the I know the Giants are still looking for a quarterback at this point. We're recording this Thursday. At this point, I don't know why anyone would go there.
Yeah.
The Steelers, if they decide to
Well,
keep Kenny Pickett, I'm not Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, like that's a team you could win with Mike Tomlin's defense.
We
I know why Rodgers would go there.
we also didn't address. Well, I know why Rodgers would go there. I don't know why Tomlin would want him unless you think what you saw
Lack
from
of
him
options.
is good enough.
Lack of options.
You guys, the Jets, also surprise! You found your new quarterback in Justin Fields, also former Steeler. So the Indiana thing makes sense if you're Daniel Jones, I think, because what you're guessing is Anthony Richardson is going to get a boo-boo at some point in the season, and I'm going to see the field. And if I do good on that option in the field, I could be Joe Flacco, which, by the way...
Or he might just pull himself out. That happens. He just pulls himself out of games every once in a while.
That is true. And by the way, Joe Flacco's still out there, just kind of wandering around. Guys, we have a lot of fun segments for you today. We have a fan favorite, More Mikely, which is going to be coming up next. And then we have the debut of a new segment called Is It Over?
Ooh!
God Bless Football, Mikey A is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. We just touched on it last segment. We haven't really spoken about it. Stugotz is not in today. He's on assignment. And you guys got your quarterback, Justin Fields. You got Justin Fields, 2 years, $40 million. And I know how you feel about this. What I'm wondering is, and maybe you will have an answer as you cover the Jets more closely than I do, is what did the Jets see in Justin Fields scrambling on 3rd and short last year once every 3 drives that made you think, you know what, that's our guy for $20 million a year?
I don't think this was the worst decision they made since they drafted Zach Wilson.
Oh, no.
Mind you, when they drafted Zach Wilson, they passed on Justin Fields.
No, man.
To draft Zach Wilson. No, I fully mean this. They signed, this should technically break Saquon Barkley's record because they signed a running back for $20 million a year. They're just going to put him at quarterback. The guy can't run an offense. He is absolutely incapable of throwing the ball on time. He can run. And I think he's going to run them to 6 or 7 wins, and it's going to be hard to watch. I was watching like NFL Network after the signing, and they're like, they should go back to the Ohio State offense with Justin Fields. And I'm like, how embarrassing for a professional organization to have to go back to a college offense from 5 years ago in order to try and move the ball. How embarrassing is the New York Jets? Next year they're going to have $60 million in the quarterback room with only Justin Fields in there.
Yeah. Do you still have Tyrod? Could Tyrod beat him out for the job?
So they have a brand new offensive coordinator who's full of red flags, by the way.
Oh.
A guy who's never
Challenge
run
flags?
an offense. Yes, exactly. Who's never run an offense, who's never been a play caller. And now you're like, here's Tyrod Taylor, traditional pocket, can roll out a little bit, but traditional pocket quarterback. And here's Justin Fields. Do me a favor. Create an offense. Oh, and by the way, your number 2 receiver is Billy Gill.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're signing you. They haven't broken that yet, but
Nice.
Yeah.
What am I making?
Not much. They gave it all. They gave it all to Justin Fields.
Okay. Would you have rather continued with the Aaron Rodgers experiment?
I would. I mean, if you're telling me my choices were Justin Fields or Aaron Rodgers, yes, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh boy.
If you're telling me my option, you know who I wanted? Because he would have been cheap, he would have been fun, and you wouldn't have had to give him a long-term deal. Give me
Say
Jameis
it.
Winston. Give me
Yes.
Jameis Winston. Give me Jameis Winston and Tyrod Taylor. Between the two of them, you'll get 17 starts. And then you reset the whole thing next year in a better draft class, a better free agent class. But no, you went and gave a running back, Justin Fields, $20 million a year.
Dude, I'm a big Jameis guy, and I was getting killed earlier this week because I said the
No.
Steelers should sign Jameis Winston instead of
Give me
Aaron
Jameis
Rodgers.
Winston.
And they were crushing me. They're like, why on earth would you sign Jameis Winston over Aaron Rodgers? I'm like, dude, Jameis could do stuff with the weapons the Steelers have. Like, he's good enough to get you in the playoffs, and you never know.
It's going to be a whole lot. With Jameis, it's always going to be a lot of please don't do that. Please don't do that. It worked.
Yeah.
Or please don't do that. Please don't do that. I told you not to do that.
I
And that's
mean-
fine. But his wide receivers are going to be happy because he's going to get him the ball. He's gonna.
How fun was Jameis last year in the snow game? That was one of my favorite games of the season last year. Just Jameis Winston playing in the snow. Oh. You mentioned Zach Wilson. Hey, he's a Dolphin now, so things are perfectly fine down here in Miami. If anything happens to Tua, we finally got him that quality backup that the Dolphins fans have been desiring all these years.
A little behind the scenes, we text each other, this group, me, you, Fuentes, Stugotz. And after the Jets signed Justin Fields, Fuentes sent kind of a ha, you guys have your quarterback now. It's Justin
I did not
Fields.
laugh. I did not laugh.
And then like an hour later,
laugh.
you guys signed Zach Wilson, and I won.
Yeah.
Because you have Zach Wilson.
I said you guys deserve better. I was trying to be nice. I know Justin Fields is
but
not what you
we know
wanted,
how-
and then
that's not how I read
you
it.
immediately turned it on me.
You guys deserve better.
This is terrible.
how I read it.
Yeah, I am being misrepresented.
Yeah, the Zach Wilson thing, not great. Not ideal. And then there's pictures of Tua out on a boat where he seems not in tip-top shape. Not
Very much-
exactly where we want him to be. Now, granted, look, hey, Tua, spring break. We get it. You know what I mean? Go out, have fun on your yacht, enjoy the weather, enjoy, the off season, enjoy the money. But like in 2 weeks, let's start hitting the gym again. You know what I mean? Like let's start some off season training shortly, because there were questions before, and we weren't necessarily thrilled at the options that we had as backups. Which we tried with Snoop Huntley, we tried with Teddy Bridgewater. Lord knows we tried with Skylar Thompson way too many times. Mike White didn't really give him a fair shot, in my opinion. But
Agreed.
now, this is Zach Wilson's team if something happens to you, Tua. So we need you more than ever. Do whatever you need to do to stay healthy. Don't run. Don't get hit. Check it down. Throw it out of bounds. Let's get some core work in. Maybe start working on that arm. Forget about legs. We don't need your legs. You're not going to be running around. Don't run around. And let's make sure that we can do. Right now, I think the Tua and the Dolphins' priority, if you're a Dolphins fan, it's been 20 years since they've won a playoff game, right? It's the longest in the NFL drought in terms of winning a playoff game the Dolphins have at the moment. People are craving it. I think the past couple years, there has been this ridiculous expectation for the Dolphins to make the Super Bowl. We have quickly found out that is not realistic. Dolphins fans, if you're listening, let's reprogram our goals, okay? Not Super Bowl win, not Super Bowl appearance. Tyreek Hill doesn't even want to be here. He changes his mind every 5 seconds, so he's either going to be gone or he's going to be checked out, telling you that he wants to be gone by week 2.
Or he's going to be all in.
Yeah.
Could be any of them.
He's all in week 1, and by week 3, he's asking out. Then week 3 on Tuesday, he's like, I was just emotional. I'm double all in now. And it's like, okay, Tyreek, like we get how this is going, right? This is what I'm asking of the Dolphin fan base. Let's reprogram our expectations. Let's set a realistic goal for us as fans and for Tua as quarterback. And that goal is do not let Zach Wilson play a snap this season. Not a snap. Only if this is like a Denver situation where you're up by like 40 plus points, where you're going in and you've blown them out and you scored 70 in a game, so all of your backups are playing in the fourth quarter. But in terms of meaningful playing time, we need to recalibrate, and we need to make sure as a fan base we do not let Zach Wilson play. And it's nothing personal against Zach Wilson. He seems like a very lovely person. I don't want him quarterbacking this team in any meaningful position throughout the season. And sure, I'm taking into account Tua's health too when I'm saying I want Tua to stay on the field. I want you to be healthy. I want all of that. I don't want you to get injured, but also do it for me and don't let Zach Wilson play.
I I think I disagree with you wholeheartedly. And here's why. If Zach Wilson comes in for you guys and is terrible, you go, well, yeah, Zach Wilson is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
If Zach Wilson comes in for you and looks competent,
That's not going to happen.
listen, I agree, but it's a very high upside.
I'm tired
To
of the
have that
upside.
feather-
Can I tell you?
to have that feather?
Can I tell you why Zach Wilson has such high upside? Because he's been so terrible everywhere he's gone. That's the only reason people
Not
believe he has high upside.
Not everywhere. He was terrible for the Jets and then spent a year on the back of the bench with Denver. He hasn't been terrible everywhere he's gone. He was terrible with the Jets.
He didn't sniff any playing time in Denver.
No, Bo Nix was good.
Yeah. Well, the point is this. He has a high ceiling, and he has all of this stuff because he was drafted high, and he's got a big arm, but every chance he's gotten has not gone well. Both times that he got chances with the Jets did not go well. I think we know what Zach Wilson is, and I could be wrong. And hey, maybe this is, and we'll get to this later in the show, maybe soon, maybe more likely, I don't know. Maybe this is another example of a Jets quarterback that got away and really had all of the skill there all along, and the Jets just misused him. I don't think that's the case with Zach Wilson. Anyways, Mikey, you want to play more Mikely?
Sure.
Okay.
You want to get right to it then?
I mean, unless you want to do something else. What do you want to do? What do you want to talk
I'm
about?
good.
How's the family? How are the kids? Yeah, what are you guys up to this weekend?
Half day
Anything
today.
fun?
I got to get out of here.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I hate half days. Not a fan of half days at school whatsoever.
Terrible.
I love my children. Love my children. Stay in school all day. Learn your things that you need to learn. Stop getting half days. And the half days, I don't know, how often do your kids get half days?
I want to say almost once a month, maybe 3/4 a month.
3/4 a month?
No, three, like they get 3/4 of a half day. So like 3 and 4 months.
Yeah, I get one like once a month at least, and it's kind of like let's full day.
It ruins
this
your
one.
whole day. It ruins your whole day because everything is, and it's always on the worst day.
Yeah, it's not that it ruins my day per se, but you know, I want to.
Your flow is what I mean.
No,
I
I
like
think
being with my children ruins my day. I mean, just
it's not.
ruins the
It's
flow of
not.
my day.
It's not that. It's that like my children are so young and their minds are so moldable right now that I really just wish that they would be in school as long as possible so that they can gain as much knowledge and information at such a young, impressionable age, that they're at school so long that they get all of the education and everything that they can learn out of it while they still can. And I will admit to you some of my shortcomings. One of them is which I can't teach my child the way a teacher can. So if I want my child, I can only do as much as I can, but I only know so much.
So teach them defense.
If my child, except the 7
except
versus
the
8,
one, except
the 7 versus 8, we can't get into that one.
Teachers can teach them that. The teachers will teach them that.
The teachers will teach them that, just not from this book because,
of course.
I think everyone understands that. But the point being, I want them to be sponges at school and soak up as much information as possible, and I'm not as qualified to teach them all of the things that they're learning. It has nothing to do with the fact that when they come home, they make it completely impossible to be productive, and I can't get anything done. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever.
There we go.
Anyways, more Mikely?
More Mikely.
All right.
All right, Fuentes, you're in on this. More likely to lead his team to the playoffs after being a former Jet quarterback.
Oh boy.
Geno Smith with the Raiders,
or
Sam Darnold with the Seahawks.
Oh, no Zachy there?
No, I said playoffs, and
yeah. Well,
we already know
you just told me all the upside that he had. So
well, he does. I mean, it's
man. This one, can I go first?
Please.
I'm going to say Ooh, it's tough. I'm gonna say Sam Darnold with the Seahawks, and it's not because I believe in Sam Darnold. It's because I think that they are in a division with less competition than the Raiders. Because the Raiders have the Chiefs that they have to go up against. They have the Broncos, who are a playoff team they have to go against. They have the Chargers, who looked better last year. I think that the Raiders have more of an uphill battle. I need to see who they play, aside from their division, like who in the AFC they have this year. But I think that the Raiders are going to have a tougher schedule than the Seahawks are going to have. Plus, the Seahawks, in getting Sam Darnold, also just dealt DK Metcalf. So I think that this is going to be a tough road for Sam. Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough road for Sam Darnold here. The Rams always end up being the Rams. We had that whole situation with Stafford where he's pretending he's going to retire again or pretending he's going to go to another team, just ends up right back there. The Cardinals, God bless the Cardinals. We love the Cardinals. We love the Rollis family, defensive coordinator Rollis, all of that. 49ers, there's a lot going on there that we'll get to later in this episode. I think the Seahawks have an easier path than the Raiders do.
Fuentes?
I mean, Billy said everything there was to say. The only other bonus I'd say for Sam Darnold is he has a receiver I can name, who's Jackson Smith and Jigba, where I can't even tell you the number. Well, I guess Brock Bowers is a guy. And Jacoby
is a pretty good guy.
Jacoby Myers? Jacoby Myers plays for them, and he had a pretty good season. But Darnold, he's just going to benefit from not a poor division, but he'll only really be racing against the Rams, I feel, and that's going to be.
I have when we come back, because I know we got to go here.
Let's do more. Let's do another one. Fuentes, can we do another one?
I got a cross sport one when we come back.
Wow. When we come back, part 2 of More Mikely. I think Fuentes and Mikey, that was the first time that we've cut off a segment in the middle just to go to commercial break and then come back for part 2 of said segment. By the way, that segment, More Mikely, is presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Yeah, leave them wanting more. And I knew I had 2 more good ones, and I didn't want to have to rush through them. So I figured we just push them up a little bit. And I'm
just let it ride. I think we'll do a 25-minute segment.
Then Fuentes gets even more. Yeah. He gets even more mad at us than he
Goth
is.
Fuentes, yeah. But I mean, here's the thing that we've talked about, and Fuentes, you can be honest with us or dishonest or whatever, right? But in Fuentes is do we still do eras, or is that no longer a thing? Was that a thing 2 years ago because of Taylor Swift, but now it's not anymore? Fuentes, do you know?
I was gonna make a joke about Taylor Swift, but you took that too. What else have you?
Well, no, I was gonna say, is Fuentes in his goth era, or do we no longer describe things as eras? Because here's the thing: if he is in this goth Nicky Jam period that he's in right now, you say that we're gonna make him more upset, but then he might actually like that. You know what I mean? We're giving
making him happy.
Yeah,
we're giving him more upset.
We're giving him the angst that he's craving to then rebel against. You know what I mean? We would be his parents that he doesn't understand while he has a poster in his room of My Chemical Romance. You know what I mean?
No, my era that I'm in is have a stress-free Thursday, and you're doing everything possible to take me away from that.
Why is that?
Just cut us off mid.
Yeah, exactly right. We could have gone. We could have finished that segment, and instead we're now carrying it over to 2 segments for you. Can you, before we get to More Mikely, walk us through what a stress-free Thursday looks like for you, or Friday if you're listening, or Saturday if you're listening on a Saturday. What does it look like for you?
A stress-free Thursday is I come in here. Yeah. Billy shows up, not 15 minutes late.
I was not 15 minutes late.
It was not 15 minutes. No.
Yes,
no.
I won't get into the specifics, but we set a time. You came in 15 minutes after.
You asked for us to start 30 minutes after because you were late to work today because of traffic and you had other things to do, and we accommodated you.
Oh, thanks for
And then after we said, I said, can we start, if we start at that time, that's fine. We can just go all the way through. And then you said, no, let's start at 8:30. And I said, why don't we do 8:45 so that you would have more time to do the things you needed to do? We moved the time for you.
No, listen.
What are you talking
the thing
about?
is, so first of all, thank you for reminding me about the traffic. Yeah, so that's what started the stress. Then we get here, and then you say, "Hey,
Look at the big smile on
gotta
his
be
face while
wrapped
he's
up by
complaining.
9:45."
Because he's upset.
I'm explaining while I'm
He's
right.
so happy.
Because I'm explaining while I'm right.
being upset.
So then I asked guys, "Hey, can we start at 9? Because we have to do this thing." And then he said, "Well, no, I got to be done by 9:45. We have a 50-minute show. There's no way we're doing 50 minutes without a break. I got to do time."
We could have been fine.
So
we would have
then,
been fine. My 9:50, my 9:45.
So then, guess
flexible.
what? I'm like, okay, well, let's do 8:30. Let me not accommodate myself. Let me be accommodating to my talents because
You're so
they
selfless.
drive the show. But no, then we get there. Me and Danny are here. It's 8:30. Where's Billy? Then I get a text saying, "Hey, I'm coming in now." I say, "That's cool." 15 minutes later, he's there. Then he wants to start talking about segments. I'm like, "Oh my god, we're never gonna finish this." The stress starts building. The anxiety starts building. And now here we are talking about my problems. At what time is it now? 9:30. Look at that. You got to be done in 15 minutes. Still got 18 minutes to do. This is just a disaster. More likely.
At no point did I say I'm on my way now. Like that is just you're just kind of making things up. That's
It's also
you're just
9:26.
you're making things up here. That's fine if that's how we want to play this. You know what?
8:34. Hopping in now. Here you go, Danny. You can take that. Take that
Yeah.
seat right there. Hopping in now.
And
Hopping
yes,
in now, right
8:34.
there. Yeah.
when we had settled on 8:45. So if anything, I would say I was 9 minutes early.
We did not settle on. No one said 8:45. No one said ever said
Mikey?
8:45.
I'd have to go back into the records.
It says right here, if we start at like 8:45, we'll still be good. And then you were going.
That's what you wrote. That's what you wrote. I didn't write that.
I was trying to help you. You know what? Never again. Never again. In fact, and I'm not going to apologize because I gave you the frustration that you've been seeking to go in.
You're actually
and put
helping
in
me. Thank you.
Your
He's
lip
so happy.
liner
He's
and
so
your
happy
eyeliner.
right
You're actually helping me.
Exactly
You're
right.
You know.
Go put in your stud earrings or whatever the gauge is, whatever it is that you do when you get out of work. The dog collar with the spikes. Yeah, there's your dangling earring.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyways, more Mike Lee. Now he's
More
going to tell us,
Mike Lee.
there's only 30 seconds left. You're really stressing me out today.
I'm not cutting it off mid segment.
Gotta stay on time.
I'm not cutting it off mid segment again because it did
Guys,
nothing.
30 seconds. Oh, hurry up. There it is. 5-minute warning. Better be quick, Mikey. Don't go over a second.
No, more likely to have a resurgence in the twilight of their career.
Oh.
DeAndre Hopkins in Baltimore or Devontae Adams in LA?
I'm gonna go first. Can I go first?
Yeah.
It's gonna be Devontae Adams.
Really?
Yeah, he looked so good last year, like in spurts, and now he has a quarterback that's like I would say more competent and a better offense, and an offensive genius of a head coach. There's no way it's not Devontae Adams. DeAndre Hopkins, but for all intents and purposes, looked very washed. He had a few moments in Kansas City. He was a stranger in the Super Bowl. He had his chance. And, this is kind of like a formula that Baltimore has where they keep bringing in these washed receivers to Lamar Jackson, and then you think he's going to have like a year with these guys, and they don't really do anything. It's just the Mark Andrews show again.
Yeah, I mean, what I was going to say was I felt like Devontae Adams doesn't even qualify for this, right? Because you're saying who's going to have a bounce back. Like
He was great last year.
He was fine last year.
No, he was great last year for the Jets. I was saying who's going to have a better twilight of their career.
Yeah, I would go with Devontae Adams also. DeAndre Hopkins, I think that if you're going with him, you're wondering, oh, is this going to be like Derrick Henry, where all of a sudden, oh my gosh, look, I forgot how great this person was, which I don't know if that's how that's going to work at the wide receiver position. Because the Chiefs is a place where it's kind of the opposite, right? For what you were just describing with the Ravens, where the Chiefs bring in like any name off the street, and then they come and like, oh wow, Hunt, like he's 2 touchdowns a game. He's great.
He's really
like
good.
you get anyone, you plug them in there, they seem to work. Oh, MVS is back. Wow, that's shocking. Look, he can still play. Like these are the things that happen with the Chiefs, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen with DeAndre Hopkins. The only thing with Devontae Adams that is maybe working against him is that he doesn't have his friend Aaron Rodgers just force feeding him the ball every single time he gets the chance to.
This is like the first time in his career where he's not best friends with his quarterback, except for like the year they made him play with Derek Carr. Like this is like the first time where it's like, hey, you're gonna have to like learn somebody else's name, and how to play wide receiver with a different quarterback, because this isn't going to be your best friend.
Because he had good numbers with the Jets, but Aaron was forcing him the ball. Like he had a 196-yard game, and it's like because Aaron was just feeding him any chance that he got. And I wonder
I said
if
Derek Carr before. I meant Aiden O'Connell, but
that's fine. Whatever. Anyways, do you have any more Mike?
All right, I got one more.
Two minutes, quickly.
This one's for Billy.
Ooh.
After recent title run success.
But Fuentes, don't get your feelings hurt. You can answer it too. Okay.
Yeah. After recent title runs, who is more likely to fall off? The 49ers or the Yankees?
Oh. Man. Here's the thing. Is that and it's because I was going to surprise you. We have a new game that we're going to play next segment called Is It Over? My first one was the 49ers. So the thing about the 49ers and the Yankees is the 49ers lost everyone, but they still have Brock Purdy. So now we're really going to find out Brock Purdy. If you're the 49ers, you don't give him like the big deal yet, right? Like now is when you're like, oh, let's see what Brock Purdy actually has. Let's see how much money we're really going to invest in him. Because I mean, Brock Purdy is going to have to work this season to keep the 49ers relevant. The Yankees, man, are they plagued with injuries? They lost Garrett Cole. Giancarlo Stanton has something going on.
He doesn't have any working limbs.
They always
Lewis Heel out for half the year.
Yeah, they're in a position though, the Yankees, where they make free agent signings and they'll be active at the deadline. So I'm gonna go with the 49ers. Fuentes?
Take your time on the answer too.
49ers.
All right. Should the 49ers trade Christian McCaffrey?
Yes. I mean, for his sake, right?
I mean, like, what are you holding on to him for? You've got some decent running backs behind him, as you learned last year when Christian McCaffrey played like 3.5 snaps.
I was going to say, what do you think you can get for him at this point? Just because you never know if he's going to be healthy or not.
Salary cap relief is what you can get, and
really?
that's what I would do.
You don't think someone will overpay?
I mean, you'll get a day 2 pick probably, but like, I don't think it's much, but you get his contract off the books.
He'll get moved to a contender mid-season, I'm gonna guess.
Oh,
because it's true, like you said,
like he did last time.
Yeah, you can plug and play exactly. Like you can plug and play almost any running back. We had a guy named, I think his name was
the Dolphins, perhaps.
No, Gerardo. What was it? Who was the guy that came in as a third string guy? He produced like so they don't.
Yeah. When we come back, a new game called Is It Over? Where we discuss is it over for the 49ers or not? I feel like we did a good job. I feel like we got more Mikey in there. We didn't go too far over. We got Fuentes' thoughts and we included him, which is the most important thing. I hope that we're trending towards a better day for him, even though things have been going poorly. I want to play a game called Is It Over? And this is the way that it works, Fuentes, Mikey. This is how it goes, is I will give you a situation or a team or a scenario or whatever, and then I will say, is it over? And then you, the listening audience, you can play along at home if you would like. Also, you could give us your thoughts either on Twitter or just say them out loud while you're listening. And then we'll all determine whether or not it is in fact over. Or Actually, now that we're talking it out, Fuentes, Mikey, we could make this a debate segment where I can say, "Is it over?" and one of you explains why it is, and the other one debates saying why it is not over. I like that idea better.
All right.
Okay. So in this first example, Mikey, you are going to be arguing why it is not over, and Fuentes, you will be arguing why it is over. Ready? Do we get the game now, Fuentes?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here we go. Brand new segment called "Is It Over?" Who wants to go first, Mikey or Fuentes?
I'll go first.
Okay, so you're going to tell us. You're going to tell us why it is not over,
Sure.
and then Fuentes will tell us why it is over. Fuentes, do you think you can handle being the doom and gloom of this scenario?
Yes.
Okay. Is it over? The Eagles championship window. They just won the Super Bowl. They lost a lot of people. Has that championship window closed with a championship? Mikey?
It's obviously not over because they still have most of their foundational pieces there. They still have their quarterback. They still have Saquon Barkley. They still have their two wide receivers. They have most of their defense. I mean, Milton, what's his name? Milton Williams?
Sure.
Sure. Was a nice player. He was a good player. Maybe one of the best free agents, but he wasn't even the best defensive tackle on his team. So like losing him is like, oh man, that stinks, but we're going to be all right.
All right, Fuentes, is it over?
I actually have to go work, buddy.
What side am I again? Yes.
You're arguing that it is over.
That is. Oh,
Thanks
yeah.
for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is also your idea.
Tony walks in
stressing
here.
me out.
Tony walks in
You're
here. This
stressing me
guy
out.
over here, my brother starts asking about some guy. I don't even know. I got Milton Williams. Never heard of that is in my life, and it's just a lot going on in here. These
What
people,
does
no
Tony
respect.
want?
I don't know. He just showed
Did you
up
tell him
here.
you're working?
Yeah,
You're doing a
no.
show
I mean,
right
isn't
now.
it obvious? Like Danny's here punching. I'm here talking. Anyway, this is why it's over for the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost Josh Sweat. He probably should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl. Lost a lot of key pieces on defense. I don't think Saquon can replicate his record-breaking year. He's a year older now. He's got a little bit more mileage. They lost Gainwell, which is a critical piece. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but he had a lot of big runs for them when Saquon would step out. It's just really hard to replicate this type of thing. And this is the whole like, oh, should I have a balanced team? Should I have a good quarterback? And this is going to show that the quarterback, when he's good, he covers a lot of areas that you may be lacking in. And now that you've lost all these key defensive pieces, they were lucky to hit on Cooper DeJean. They had another rookie whose name escapes me who also hit. Can they keep this up? Yet to be determined, but I don't see them repeating next year.
All right. I've hit my hand on the table because I don't have a gavel.
There we go.
I'm siding with Fuentes. I think that he made the better argument. I'm not saying I think it's over, but I think he made a better argument. Sorry, Mikey. Okay.
You're making him miserable by making him happy. I
Next-
like being the affirmative. Give me the affirmative again.
Okay, great. Is it over? The Bears living in last place.
Of course it's over. Of course it's wait, which one am I? So
Well,
I
you're
think
the positive. How about this? You're the positive, but you can explain why it's over, and then Fuentes will tell us why it's not over. Yeah.
Oh, it's not over. They're still the Bears. I mean,
Oh, so they're
they're-
okay.
that's what you wanted, right?
Sure, not really, but that's
Okay.
fine. We'll go that way.
All right, you asked the question weird. All right, so I'm going to just say that they're still going to be in last place because the Lions are still good, the Vikings are still good, the Packers are still good, and they're still the Bears. And I think Caleb Williams showed you what he is, which is a quarterback that was coddled from the time he was probably in grade school until he got to the pros, where he's no longer the best player on the field. And I'm not sure that Ben Johnson is going to be able to fix him.
Wow, Fuentes.
I'm going to say it is over. You want to know why? Not because the Bears will be much better, but because I don't trust J.J. McCarthy. Who the hell is he and what has he done? We had questions before, then he got hurt. Now he's coming in on his second year. How much can Justin Jefferson take in? There's
Kevin
a lot going on
O'Connell.
back here. Who did I say?
No, you said J.J. McCarthy, but Kevin
Oh.
O'Connell's the reason J.J. McCarthy is going to be good.
He also said Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson's there. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything. I'm supposed to be arguing why the Bears will not be on the bottom. And I'm
Are
going to
you
stay
sure
true to
that's
the
what
game.
you're supposed to be arguing?
Yes.
Because
Are you-
I'm lost?
And
I
Ben
got
Johnson.
confused. I thought he was arguing about the Vikings for a minute there.
Well, that's why the Vikings are going to be so bad. The Bears are not going to be on the bottom. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I'm not even
so
sure if
I'm
that's
gonna-
true. I'm just saying
I'm
that would
gonna-
be the reason.
I'm giving that one to Mikey, not because I believe it, but because you confused the hell out of me. I don't know what the
Oh,
hell.
man.
The
we
question
need a
was confusing.
tiebreaker.
If we're being fair, the question was so confusing.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
going
It
to
was-
side with Fuentes on that one.
The question's not confusing. It's just, are they still going to be in last? Fine, whatever. You know what? I'll be the first person this episode to take accountability. That was my fault. All right, last one. Is it over? Braxton Berrios and Alex Earl's relationship. Braxton now has left Miami. He's going to Houston. Alex kind of has a Miami. She's known as a Miami person, even though she's, I think, from New Jersey or something. So now that he's with the Texans, is it over, Mikey?
It is not over. Love conquers all.
Wow. Fuentes?
I'm going to say it is over. She loves Miami. Houston is very humid, just like Miami, but just not as cool.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Houston's a huge city. There's a lot to do there. I don't know.
Okay, so
great Vietnamese food too, by the way, in Houston. Just so you know.
I'm gonna write that down. So Houston has great Vietnamese food.
Fuentes says.
I'm gonna give that one to Mikey just because I do like the concept of love conquering all.
We do love on this show. We do love love.
I love. Very pro love.
Except Jordan Love. Don't love Jordan Love, but I love.
Why not?
All. I never thought he's been that good. I think he rode 6 games into a big contract, and now the Packers are stuck with him. I just don't think he's that great.
Really? But they'll still kind of keep the Bears in last place.
I don't think he's that bad. I think the Bears tend to be good. And Josh Jacobs is reemerged as a great running back. So sorry, it's hard for me to hear because my brother doesn't believe in headphones and he's working behind me.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it for this week. See you next time. God bless football, everyone.